clinical pharmacy practice. We all know that, dear students, clinical pharmacy is a branch of pharmacy that involves the provision of patient care with the use of medication to optimize the health outcomes of the patients. And this includes promoting the wellness and prevention of disease. The practice of clinical pharmacy embraces the pharmaceutical care philosophy. Now I call upon Dr. Badrut sir to give an introduction speech about our today's speaker, Dr. Karthikeyan sir.
Good morning, sir. Good morning, everyone. So today we are having an eminent personality, Dr. Karthikeyan. He completed his B Pharmacy from C.L. Wade Mehta College and a Masters in Pharmacy Practice from JSS College of Pharmacy and PhD from Pacific Academy of Higher Education Research, Udaipur, Rajasthan. So he has several achievements and awards like Young Scientist Award by Global Pride Awards in International Conference held at Bangkok. Then Best Oral Presentation Award also he obtained in the same conference, and he also got Institution of Green Engineers Appreciation in the year 2022. And he also obtained Outstanding Teaching Award on the occasion of Sri Sarvepalli Radhakrishnan birthday from Indian Pharma Education Society in the year 2022. And also he got Bharat Gaurav Pushkar Award in the year 2022. And Best Oral Presentation, several Best Oral Presentations Award also he achieved. And also he achieved Best Teacher Award by Institute of Scholars in the year 2019. Like that he achieved several awards from national and international body. And he is an active member of many professional societies like APTA, IPA, IPGA, ISCA, NFPS, etc. And he is having several publications and patents. So this is his brief profile, and now with this I welcome him to give the presentation on today's topic, that is clinical pharmacy practice. Thank you, sir.
Hello.
Sir, Karthikeyan sir. Karthikeyan sir.
Good morning.
Good morning,
Dr. Karthikeyan sir.
Good morning, sir. How are you?
We are very much thank you for accepting our invitation to conduct this webinar.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
I congratulate our organizer, Mr. Dr. Badru and Dr. Gauri for the wonderful program organized here. I wish to start this function webinar for the smooth conduct. Please kindly proceed. Mr. Dr. Badru,
Yes, sir.
they can proceed this webinar.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, thank you. Thank you for all the participants from all the places. Thank you very much.
Karthikeyan sir?
Yes, ma'am.
Shall I share your slides, sir?
Yes.
Okay, sir. Just a minute.
Sir, in cinema hall, nothing sound was here now.
That I will go in the classroom.
Oh.
So just a minute, sir. Got it, got it.
What are the plans? What is the just to confirm.
ஆமா நீங்க வாட்ஸ்அப்ல நாங்க உட்கார்ந்தா எங்களுக்கு கிடைச்சு பசங்க எல்லாம் கட்டிட்டு இருக்காங்க சார் நத்திங் கம்மிங் நான் ஆடிட்டு சார்
Madam, you sit here. Madam, you sit here. Madam. Sir, you proceed, sir.
Sir, I will share. I will scatter.
Sir, you can proceed, sir. Sir, you are muted, sir. Karthikeyan, sir.
Right?
Are you able to see the presentation?
Yes, yes, yes.
Next one is you. He's there, no? Yes, you just sit. No, show it to me.
Power gun.
Okay.
You try. So you call him.
Sir?
Sir, are you able to hear?
Yes, sir.
Shall we proceed?
Hello?
Yes, sir.
Sir, we'll start, sir.
Oh, okay.
Thank you. Sorry for the inconvenience.
No problem.
So good morning to one and all. So today we are going to see the pharmacy specialization in clinical setup. This is termed as clinical pharmacy practice. Next slide, sir. We all know what is clinical pharmacy right now because we all been, it's not a separate field, it's been closely associated with our pharmacy profession because now all the curriculums, including the diploma in pharmacy, bachelor of pharmacy, and from pharmacy practice and pharmacy, all being turned into the same platform now because without this clinical pharmacy setup, the pharmacy cannot survive. That is the future now. Okay, so we'll see the clinical pharmacy, what is clinical pharmacy exactly. Next step. So the clinical pharmacy is nothing but the health science discipline where pharmacists provide patient care by optimizing the medication therapy. You all know what you mean by optimizing the medication therapy means. So individualization of the care, patient care. Each and every patient will have their own dose. Okay, so we cannot take the same dose to the other patient. Okay, so you all know about this pediatric care, geriatric care, etc. Everything will have the individualization of drug therapy. Okay, so the optimizing the medication therapy by embracing the philosophy of pharmacy. So mainly, so what far we have been working towards is that pharmaceutical care. So mainly the pharmaceutical care should be delivered to the patient by the pharmacist. So that is mainly done by this clinical pharmacy. Because why? Okay, so we all know about the hospital pharmacy as well as the community pharmacy as well as the other pharmacies. Okay, so these pharmacists usually will do only the hospital setup, the outpatient setup or inpatient pharmacy. They used to dispense the drugs and their duty will be, so they are procuring the drugs and dispensing the drugs. So that is the only job done by the hospital pharmacist usually. Okay, so they are not entitled to enter the ward of the hospital. So the community pharmacy, the community pharmacy has been established. So the person who owns the pharmacy will do the business around this community. Okay, so say for example some residential plants is there, so we used to choose on the community, the pharmacist. Okay, so the pharmacist is the one who have the higher role in dealing with the patient. Okay, so none other than the other healthcare providers cannot be that much close when compared to the pharmacist. So that's why we have so many community pharmacists as well as the hospital pharmacists. Okay, here the clinical pharmacy will do the job along with the doctors, other healthcare providers by entering into the ward, and they may note the case sheet. Okay, so what are the therapy they have been given to the patient, given to the particular patient, and how the drug is been acting on the particular patient. Okay, so that is the main thing. So they have been doing this very fluently nowadays. Okay, so the pharmacy students as well as the other pharmacists also now this after completing the D.Pharm course, also the one more course, that bridge course is available to develop the pharmacy. So previously the diploma holders, they have not been given opportunity and they also been given opportunity now in the term of this Bachelor of Pharmacy Practice, Bachelor of Practice. Okay, so B.Pharm of Practice, so they enable 2 years course, they enable them to practice as a clinical pharmacist. Okay, so now, so after completing diploma also, they can join with 3 years experience, 3 years of experience if they provide, they have been entitled to join the B.Pharm practice course. Okay, so that is the clinical pharmacy development and how the job field form. So many things are there. So health science discipline where pharmacists provide patient care by optimizing the medication therapy. So we'll see this in detail in the coming slides. So patient care plus medication use for optimization of health outcomes. So this is the main thing, patient care and also medication. So if you both the things done together, automatically the health outcome will be better. Okay, so this is the latest and unmapped discipline of pharmacy. So clinical pharmacy history is that existence of clinical pharmacy as a professional practice due to the poor medical control system in hospitals in 1960s. Okay, so in the UK and US, where the pharmacy practice, the clinical pharmacy exactly originated from UK and US. Okay, so led to the process of pharmacists in patient care areas along with techniques like. So in our country, okay, it was established in way back in 1990, 92 exactly is what to say. So 92, our other, along with this pharmacy, International Pharmacy Federation, and along with our pharmacy experts, they led from Spain to Australia to get a training practice as well. So the team just came back and they started establishing the clinical pharmacy in our country. Okay, so that is the main thing how it's been originated, and what is the main area. Okay, so mainly the process of pharmacy patient care areas along with techniques like unification of. So as I already told that unification. Okay, so each and every individual will have their own prescribed medications. Okay, we cannot compare, we cannot take the same medication and give it to the other patients. So may not their health conditions and relatives. Maybe they may have a similar case history, but we cannot give the same dose or whatever. So they may be obese, or their body weight may be very high. Okay, when compared to the other patients. So we have to be very careful in dealing with the age factor as well as the health factors also we need to consider. So that is the unification of prescription. So we cannot give the same medication. So in the family, 2 to 3 people suffering from the same ailments, we cannot give the same medication to others. Okay, so we cannot share the prescription. So that is the unification of prescription. And administration documents for how it's been going to the drug administration. Okay, so administration documents as well as the billing systems. Okay, so what are the so each and every individual patient how the treatment center. So administration documents, whether they have been getting any free medications or whatever. So administration documents, the patient's case history, that everything is confidential as well as the correct documentation has to be maintained. So that is the main thing these pharmacists also have to play. And also the proper dispensing of the prescription. Okay, so say for example some 2 names, say for example Kumar is there. So 2 Kumars or 3 Kumars or 4 Kumars will be there in the same ward. So we should not confuse ourselves, and we need to be dispensed taking the UPI ID. Okay, so mainly unique ID will be the unique pharmacist ID, patient ID will be the UPI ID. So based on that ID, we need to dispense the drug. So, and also unit dose dispensing. Okay, so previously it was, so now it's almost all the prescriptions have this unit dose dispensing. Previously it was not there. Previously also in the 80s, maybe the compounding job is there. So the pharmacist will serve as compounder. So that time, so each and every pharmacist based on the prescription received from them, they used to take the raw materials and they have to formulate and they have to dispense the drugs. So that time it's very quite difficult. We need to use the ounce and also the syrup formulations and also the powder formulations will be there. So everything means that time is quite difficult, and also we need to wait, and this dose also will be very difficult, and also incompatibilities. Mainly that time for that medication errors, everything will be more in common that time. So now this unit dose dispensing, all strip packing, so everything will be under control, and also the dose will be maintained, uniformly maintained. So unit dose is now much preferable, and also almost 100% of the prescriptions have this unit dose dispensing and decentralization of pharmacy. So with mainly one pharmacy has to be there, and we need to get all the medications. So decentralization means previously it was only at one place. Okay, so if you take pharmacy, it will be located in one place of the hospital. So now this decentralization. Okay, so using what is the term decentralization? We need to avoid the centralization of pharmacy. Okay, so decentralization means one in the floor. Okay, say for example, floor pharmacy will be there, ward pharmacy will be there. Okay, in the nursing station itself, we can provide some pharmacy. So emergency medication will be stored. So they cannot expect some in the emergency cases the patient, they was the nursing staff or any other healthcare who want to take some drug meals, the drug will be stocked in the nursing station itself. So that is the decentralization. So they cannot depend on the pharmacy, the main pharmacy all times. Okay, so this the decentralization of pharmacy is very much essential. So the term ward pharmacy transition to clinical pharmacy in late 1970s. Next slide. So this is Ahmad et al. They found in a systematic review on the impact of clinical pharmacy services on patient health outcomes in Pakistan in 2021, concluded that clinical pharmacy interventions, they reduce its medication-related errors, improve therapeutic outcomes, and improve humanistic outcomes such as patient knowledge, adherence, and health-related quality of life. Okay. And a positive outcome towards the recruitment of clinical pharmacists in the healthcare sector. So this study also emphasized the importance of clinical pharmacists in low and middle income countries like Pakistan, Afghanistan, or whatever, maybe any countries which has been termed as low and middle income countries. Okay, so this is the main study that proves to be how this the impact of clinical pharmacy improve the patient health outcomes. Okay, so mainly not only in Pakistan, we can take also our country now. This pharmacy, all the corporate hospitals, they are going for NABH accreditation now. At least the term of accreditation, they realize the importance of clinical pharmacy. They have been recruiting the clinical pharmacists. Okay, so that's why our family and also the pharmacy practice graduates is doing a better thing, and also they have been helping in documenting what are the things needed mainly for the accreditation process. So mainly the study involves drug information service as well as patient medication counseling services, and also the drug interactions, monitoring of the drug, adverse drug events, so everything that should be documented. So this mainly this NABH accreditation process involves the clinical pharmacy. So because based on that, this NABH accreditation is provided to the hospital. Okay, so that is the accreditation system. So that is a pride, very proud to say that the clinical pharmacy plays a vital role in that accreditation. Next slide.
Is it telecast?
Next slide. Yeah. So these are the clinical pharmacist roles in hospitals, various activities being done by that collection of complete exhaustible history of patients. So, how we can improvise the things from the patient? We need to get full information. Say, for example, the patient really is very critical conditions when reaching the hospital. Okay, so after that, in the ICU or casualty, they they may collect some basic information. They cannot collect the entire information. So at that point of time, what is the necessity? What is the attention need to be provided? That only is being done mostly by the casualty faculties. So it's the clinical pharmacist who will be in charge of that work. They have to go and get the a complete exhaustive list. So it's the fast. We need to collect the most things. Main thing is that past medical history and past medication history. So what are the things? Say for example, the patient has been hypertension for past 5 years or 10 years, or diabetic for 5 years or 10 years. So what are the medications they've been taking? Whether they've been taking their medications regularly, okay, the complaint is there or not, everything we need to be checked out. So that is the main first priority of that clinical pharmacist. Okay, so that helps even the physician to prescribe the drugs accordingly. Okay, so what are the drugs being taken already? So whether is there any improvement or is not the condition is not really improved, so they may add some more drug to that patient. Okay, so based on that, that is a very much essential thing. First thing is that collection of complete history of patient, and next the documentation of allergies for hypersensitivities or drug dependence. So we need to collect these also. Say for example, I am previously, yeah. So I am very much I can say that I am allergic to ciprofloxacin. So as a pharmacist, we need to identify first what are the allergies, whether they take this drug. So if I take ciprofloxacin, my lips or get all blisters will form. Okay. So if I take one dose itself, it's clearly within 2 to 3 hours I may develop the rashes. Okay. So blisters in the lips. So that is hypersensitivity or allergic reaction, okay, to the drug. So that thing we need to note down. So starting what are the drugs you've been taking? So whether if you take this drug or any allergic conditions you may feel, so whatever may be, it may be a diarrhea or whatever the symptoms, whatever after taking the drug, we need to consider and we need to monitor the patient. Okay, so we need to confirm, and if any, we can provide the drug card. Okay, so whenever you are visiting the physician, you show this card to the doctor, so that we may mention that what are the allergic drugs that patient is on to. Okay, so that if they show the card to that physician wherever they have been doing, so they may avoid those drugs, and it may be very life-saving as well as we can avoid that life-threatening condition. Okay? So that we need to very care. And also drug-food interaction. Okay? So we need to educate the patient. So what are the drugs we need to avoid? So what happens if you take drug interactions? So one drug may minimize the effect of the other drug, or the drug will induce the effect of the other drug. Okay? So that whatever, say for example, rosiglitazone, so previously an anti-diabetic drug, along with that anti-hyperlipidemic drug, if you take gemfibrozil or any other drug, like say for example now, recently rosuvastatin or atorvastatin, if you take with any diabetic drug, that may induce the effect of anti-diabetic drug. Okay, say for example, if they are taking the drug for minimizing the hyperglycemic level, okay, oral hypoglycemic drug. Okay, so if you induce the effect, okay, say for example 5 mg of drug they have been taking, if you take that anti-hyperlipidemic drug, that will induce the effect. Okay, so 5 mg becomes 7 mg or 8 mg or 10 mg in the blood, so that it may increase the level, so that the patient will become hypoglycemic suddenly, they may fall down, or so these are the life-threatening conditions. We cannot expect these things will happen or that things will happen. We cannot predict the things. So we have to be very careful, need to monitor the things. So as well as that, drug-food interactions. Okay, say for example this fenugreek powder. Okay, so it will be when they put it so long. Yeah. So that mostly this diabetic patients used to take the drug in an empty stomach in the morning. So that is very powerful and also very effective on antidiabetic. So in that case, we cannot take that along with the conventional drug therapy. Okay, so oral hypoglycemic drug after test. The when they put you after drug food interaction. Okay, so these are the things அண்ட் இந்த நார்மல் ஃபுட்ல நம்ம கருவேப்பிலை நிறைய சேர்த்துப்போம், பட்டை லவங்கம் அந்த பட்டை சேர்த்துக்கிறோம்ல, பட்டை இட்ஸ் ஆல் ஃபவுண்ட் டு பி ஆன்டி இது. அதே மாதிரி பாவக்காய் சேர்த்துக்கிறது, பாவக்காய், நாவல் பழ கொட்டை, நாவல் பழம் சாப்பிட்டு நாவல் பழ கொட்டையை காய வச்சு அரைச்சி குடிப்பாங்க. ஸோ ஆல் ஃபவுண்ட் டு பி வெரி எஃபெக்டிவ் ஃபுட் அகேன்ஸ்ட் crop as well as food. Okay, because they been consuming as a food also. ஸோ அதெல்லாம் ரொம்ப பவர்ஃபுல்லான ஒரு இது. ஸோ அதனால கன்வென்ஷனல் ட்ரக் தெரப்பி எடுத்துக்கும் போது இது நம்ம கேர்ஃபுல்லாக இருக்கும். ஸோ அதை பேஷண்ட்டுக்கு எஜுகேட் பண்ணுறோம் ஓகே. So these are the roles continuing. Monitoring of drug therapy, so ensure safety and efficacy of drugs, and also narrow therapeutic index. We all know what is the dose of digoxin. So digoxin dose is at 0.5 mg. So we need to give only for 5 days. Okay. So 2 days we have to give rest. இதை பார்த்துருப்பீங்கன்னு நினைக்கிற டோஸ். ஸோ இஃப் யூ ஹேவ் எனி டவுட் யூ கேன் ரெஃபர் தட். ஏன் அந்த 2 நாள் ரெஸ்ட் கொடுக்குறோம் அப்படின்னா, அந்த பேஷண்ட் டிகாக்சின் கொடுக்கும்போது பார்த்தீங்கன்னா தட் ஏட்ரியல் ஃபிப்ரிலேஷன் சொல்லுவாங்க. அப்படியே அந்த அக்யூமுலேஷன் ஆஃப் ஃப்ளூயிட் வில் டேக் பிளேஸ். ஃப்ளூயிட் வந்து வெளியே போவாது. ஓகே. ஸோ தட் இஸ் த மெயின் திங். தட் எடிமா வில் ஃபார்ம். ஃபேடல் எடிமா, ஃபேஷியல் பப்பி எடிமா, வாட் எவர் மேபி. ஸோ வாட்டர் வந்து வெளியே போகாமல் அவங்களுக்கு வந்து உள்ளே நிறைய இது பண்ணிடும். ஸோ இட் கேனாட் பி. முகமது அர்ஷத், தேங்க்யூ. ஓகே. ஸோ அந்த நேரத்தில் we need to give 2 day rest period. யூஸ்வலாக இப்போ மண்டே ஸ்டார்ட் பண்ணாங்கன்னா அப் டு ஃப்ரைடே they may give. சாட்டர்டே சண்டே ஹாலிடே பீரியட்னு சொல்லுவாங்க. அந்த ட்ரக் மட்டும் டிகாக்சின் மட்டும் if you refer, that is the thing. Mainly we need to know about the drug, how the drug acts. ஓகே. ஸோ அதோடைய எஃபெக்ட் எப்படி இருக்கும், அதோட வேரியன்ஸ் எல்லாமே நம்ம தெரிஞ்சு வச்சுக்கிட்டாதான் இந்த கிளினிக்கல் ரோல் நம்ம சக்ஸஸ்ஃபுல்லாக பண்ண முடியும். ஸோ திஸ் த மெயின் திங், இஸ் த பெஸ்ட் எக்ஸாம்பிள். ஓகே. ஸோ டிகாக்சின் இஸ் ஆன்டி அரித்மிக் ட்ரக் given in the cardiovascular complications. Okay. So next, renal and hepatic disorder. Doses automatically renal failure or hepatic failure calculate பண்ணி அவங்களுக்கு எவ்வளவு ட்ரக் தான் கொடுக்கணும்னு சொல்லி நமக்கு ஒரு இது இருக்கு. ஓகே. ஸோ அண்ட் மானிட்டரிங் ஏரியாஸ் அண்ட் இட்ஸ் ப்ரிவென்ஷன். அப்புறம் மானிட்டரிங் ஆஃப் pharmacokinetic parameters like plasma concentration of drug and enzymes and off life. Okay. So these are the things we need to consider while doing the dose calculation. Okay. So plasma concentration, how much of drug been inside the body and how much of drug been eliminated, how much of drug totally eliminated. We need to calculate all this using the formula clearance, urine clearance, that means renal clearance. Okay. Everything we need to calculate. Okay. So that is the main thing. And selection of proper drug or dosage form. So main இதெல்லாம் பார்த்தீங்கன்னா therapeutic drug monitoring ஒரே வார்த்தை சொல்லலாம் யூஸ்வலாக. So it all will be applicable for the therapeutic drug. So therapeutic drug monitoring ஏன் பண்ணுறோம் அப்படின்னா, so that over the stage.
Sir, can you please speak in English?
Yes, yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Yes. Okay, thank you. Okay, so if you take this, all the drugs will be, all these criteria will be best suitable for the term therapeutic drug monitoring. Okay, so these drugs will act mainly this narrow therapeutic index, digoxin, lithium. Okay, all the neuro drugs, especially phenytoin, okay, carbamazepine, all these drugs will be, we have to give what dose required means we need to give. Sometimes if you give phenytoin 100 mg, the patient will be getting seizures, so that proves to be the drug, the dose which we have been provided is not enough. Okay, in that condition we need to increase the dose. So for this parameter, this plasma concentration will be very much essential. 1 minute. Morning, sir. Wonderful, sir. ஆமா. Sorry. So that's why this all other drugs we need to be very say for example this phenytoin dose is not sufficient. We need to measure that. So these things is much serious process. Therapeutic drug monitoring is a tedious process, but very effective procedure, and some hospitals only been following very strictly, especially in Christian Medical College Hospital, Wellness, this clinical process. It is from the early 90s itself, they have been establishing it, and using for this therapeutic response, we need HPLC instrument to measure the plasma concentration of the drug. So how much drug feels there, and how when we need to inject the second dose. Like that, we can predict very easily, and this individualization of drug therapy is maintained. Okay. So health physicians choose depending on the bioavailability and influence of such products. Also, we can choose and we can recommend these drugs will be very better than what you have been prescribed. Like that, we can give suggestions, but we cannot make an order to that decision. So we have to help. This is our role. We have to help physicians. Okay. Thanks. Next slide, please. So the goal of main other role is that antimicrobial stewardship program. Okay, so we have to conduct this antimicrobial stewardship program. So mainly attenuating or reversing the antimicrobial resistance and preventing antimicrobial related toxicity and reducing the cost of inappropriate antimicrobial use and healthcare associated infections. So we all know if you use any antibiotic for any condition, so we need to be very specific whether what is the gram-positive bacteria and what are the drugs being very effective to that organism mainly. So if you take other some basic antibiotics we are leaving out and directly we are going for broad-spectrum antibiotics, it definitely is going to lead to antimicrobial resistance. So once upon, if you take the broad spectrum directly, and quite difficult, the organism will become resistant and it cannot be controlled using another broad spectrum directly. So it's going to, so we have to be very nowadays much needed thing for the clinical pharmacy, and also a challenging one for all the this main physicians as well as for the now it's more common wherever if you take this clinical pharmacy, this antimicrobial stewardship program there for all the pharmacies. It's not only for clinical pharmacies. So the basic pharmacists, all the BPharm graduates, all the diploma holders, all have to be very keen to learn these techniques and what are the antibiotics we need to be used, and also this microbial assay. It will very benefited, highly benefited, but our population is not having that much patience, and also the physicians also directly they want to get replaced with their business. Not criticizing the physician, so their things are like that. So they all in mind that the patient want to get cured immediately, but they are not thinking that future problems. So okay, so that we have to be very careful. And pharmacists' responsibilities for antimicrobial stewardship include this: promoting the optimal use of antimicrobial agents and reducing the transmission of infections, and educating health professionals, patients, and the public. So these are the way to how to optimize the antimicrobial use. Okay. Yes, Sridharan Challappan sir. Yes. So this is the main thing, mapping the implementation of a clinical pharmacy-driven antimicrobial stewardship program at a tertiary care center in South India. So this was done by this Nambudri et al. In 2021. So this study signifies that pharmacist-led audit and feedback monitored the appropriateness of antibiotic prescriptions and compliance to antimicrobial stewardship recommendations showed drastic improvement in the numbers over a period of 3 years. So this study also emphasizes on how the clinical pharmacy can aid to scaffold the implementation and sustainability of antimicrobial stewardship program. where there's a lack of infectious disease physicians. Okay, so mainly the lack of things, okay, lack of knowledge, okay, infectious physicians, and physicians also in position nowadays to learn this technique. They have been welcoming this antimicrobial stewardship programs, and also they are also very keen to learn, and they are also ready to implement the things in the hospital. So that is the most welcoming thing. Along with this, all happened because of this clinical pharmacist who was initiated, and nowadays this IDs, okay, infectious diseases team, some IDs அப்படின்னு சொல்லி ஒரு the name, the agents are there to create awareness of this antimicrobial stewardship. Okay, so ID physician, ID pharmacist, so many are there. So it's been the thing, the association formed by Western countries, IDs. So they have been playing a vital role in implementing this program. Okay, next slide please. So designing health and drug policies, research and development activities, and periodic bulletin abstracts, newsletters, pharmaceutical literature, and drug information center is a service that encompasses. So drug information center, why it's been very important clinical pharmacist activities means, so they can provide all the information regarding the drug as well as the poison. So if the patient comes with a poison inhaled or whatever thing, so the pharmacist who's been in the duty has to give the proper antidote, and what are the treatment has to be given immediately. So in JSS college, where the drug information center will have the antidotes also with them. Okay, say for example, if the activated charcoal we will have, and also the injections, the atropine we will have, because the government hospitals will not have that much of things immediately, so that the College of Pharmacy has been associated with the district headquarters hospitals is used to provide all the antidotes, as well as they will keep ready, and also we'll have a refrigerator in the information center itself. So it's not a mandatory thing we have to follow, but in that emergency conditions, the patient we cannot make them to go here and there. So in that case, we can provide the physicians also, they have been welcoming them. So if any poison case comes, they may immediately contact the drug information center. So the drug information pharmacist who's been in charge of that DIC, they may go and assist the physicians in that case. So, and also the information, the drug availability, where we can get the drugs, all the things will be provided, and where we can get the drugs, and who are the suppliers. So all these things, okay, so the drug information is that not only providing the information about the drug, so it's all about availability, storage, where we have to store, all the information we can provide. So that is the main thing. Next slide please. So Chauhan et al. Again in 2013 itself, the article titled "The Indian Aspects of Drug Information Protocol, Impact of Drug Information Center on Community" concluded that the drug information centers are regarded as the gateway of drug information. The future of drug information in India lies in the quality of service, credibility among users, and the evaluation of its program. So the future of clinical pharmacy and drug information center is very bright. So the government, private hospitals, and regulatory bodies should come forward to establish more number of DAC in future time, so that clinical pharmacy and drug information can work to locate the quality in community. So the main is that why all the regulatory bodies also have to bring this drug information center in. So they will have the upper hand because they have been in tied with the more industry as well as the community pharmacies. So they are the one who have been issuing the license. So they have the entire database on who are the suppliers and who are the distributors. So that regulatory bodies. So yes, in our case also, if we have anything, we may approach the regulatory body where we can get the drug. So they are ready to help. Okay, so that is the both the government, private hospitals, both the private hospitals, they have their drug information center. So apart from that, this College of Pharmacy who run this pharmacy programs also have the drug information centers in the college itself, so that, and also a model pharmacy also will be established. and so that if any thing in the university campus or any medical assistance needed, they may directly come to that Department of Pharmacy Practice who have this model pharmacy as well as the health clinic. Okay, so this drug information center also, so we can provide all those things. And if we provide our number, email ID, mobile number, we can get that information at any point of time. Okay. Next slide. Next slide, please. So patient counseling. So you all know patient counseling. So this is a very much essential. This only we cannot limit to only the clinical counselors. Nowadays, all the pharmacists have to give this because, as I already told, that pharmacists are the very closely associated friend, we can say, to the patient, because we are the ones who have been closely associated with the patient. Okay, so directly they won't go to the doctor for treating disease. They may directly come first. I am suffering from cold, I am suffering from fever. So let's provide some medications like that. Okay, first directly they may come to the pharmacy. So in that case, the counseling is very much essential, and how the drug mean they have been taking, and whether they have been completing the course. Everything we need to emphasize the importance of that drug, how well, why they have taken that drug. Okay, so coordinated effort among healthcare team members and patients adherence to pharmacotherapy treatment, monitoring of drug effects and feedback to the health system. So the pharmacist can contribute to positive outcomes by educating and to prepare and motivate them to follow the pharmacotherapeutic regimens and monitoring plans. Okay, so we need to give proper suggestions. If you take the medication only, you may come out of the hair, but and the symptoms will be managed. So you may feel relaxed, while if you will continue to take that. So also outcomes the free health clinic service also. We may take the blood pressure, blood glucose level, we may monitor, and we can record that to them. So they may feel very happy, and they may leave our pharmacy with more satisfaction. So if we give this counseling, they will be very happy, and they will leave the pharmacy without any confusion. So they will definitely improve the adherence of the medication. Next slide, please. So patient education activities. Apart from that, the outpatient setup, we have to have awareness programs. We have to conduct, say, for example, heartbeat, diabetes day, blood donor day. So we need to emphasize the importance of each and every clinical diseases or clinical disorders. Okay, so that the patients also will get educated, and they may go to someone, and what are the information they gather, they gain, so that will be shared to the other person, and so it will be benefited. The public get more benefit. Okay, so these are the way the education activities being carried out, and our students being performing this education activities in the hospital. Next slide, please. So several studies have found that most of the areas would be detected and prevented. Pharmacists play an essential role in detection, identification, and prevention, as well as management of areas. So the role of pharmacists is to promote maintenance, development, and ongoing evaluation to reduce the risk of areas by detecting, assessing, and reporting suspected areas. So reporting areas is an essential component in monitoring and evaluating the activities performed in the hospital. So areas. So previously in 80s or 90s, when I am studying in 2068, PG I completed. So during that time, we have some on orange farm. So that will be developed by CDSCO. Okay, so pharmacovigilance program, we need to report that any area if we observe in the case sheets or whatever the patients, that we need to get a signature from that particular ward in charge doctor. So medical doctor has to sign, and it has to be authenticated by the doctor. Then only we submit the area to the monitoring number. We observe in the case sheets or whatever the patients, that we need to get a signature from. I will complete within 5 minutes. Number? Okay. So, previously it was reported by using the hard copy of the form. We don't have any soft copy or anything. So the soft copy, the hard copy is the evidence that case we get photo everything we need to send to the government center, verification center. From there, they will send to government center. So from there, it will be reported to the postal management center. And then these are the long process. So nowadays, the pharmacy business program with the PVPA is simplifying the process. They develop an app. You can download it from Play Store. PVPA, okay, Pharmacy Business Program of India. PVPA app. Anyone can previously it was only as per the report as made by the physician. So nowadays the patient, as the doctor or the normal lay person or any other physician or nurse is a
Excuse me, sir. Sorry to interview. Echo is coming, sir.
Echo, sir?
Resound is coming.
Now, sir?
Now also it is coming, sir. Resound is coming. Sir, you can continue, sir.
Hello. Sir, am I audible?
Yes, sir. Now you can continue.
Yes, sir. So previously it was reported by hard copy, using the hard copy, only the physician has to report. Now it's been modified. This app developed by this Pharmacovigilance Program of India, Indian Pharmacopoeia Commission, IPC, under CDSCO. So they have developed this PVPA. Anyone can report, and you just go through, download it from PVPA, this app store, Play Store. You can download it and you can report. Okay. The next slide, please. So these are the research activities, medication outcomes, and the comparative effectiveness, pharmacoepidemiology, pharmacogenomics, and pharmacokinetics and pharmacodynamics. So in the pharmacy practice research area. Okay. Next. So advances in pharmacy practice. Next. So pharmacogenomics in pharmacy practice. So we can collect the blood samples and we can match the genes, whether we can individualization of the therapy. Okay. Say for example, pharmacogenetics, pharmacogenomics as a discipline is a part of precision medicine and personalized healthcare. So it's a quite complicated one, but it's a very we can know what exactly happened inside the body after giving the drug. So failure of common treatment guidelines is mainly due to the inter-subject variability that can be well predicted through genetics, and therapy can be optimized. So you all know Nimesulide previously is being prescribed and it's been banned. Okay, so with the only the Western population data we have that Nimesulide has been banned. Okay, so it was still continued in our Indian population. Why means? So this is the main thing. Okay, so the genes which is present in the Western population is entirely different one when compared to our Indian population. Okay, so whatever the drugs which has been not suitable to that population will be suitable to our population. So in this case, so much for examples are there. So this is why the pharmacogenomics will play a vital role, and we can do this with the cytochrome P450 enzyme mechanism, how the drugs will act on that particular cause. Next. So these are the prescription drug monitoring programs. So using this database, we can use the thing, and also the controlled substances and all we can monitor. So how much of those being given like that. Okay. So we can do this program. Next. so medication therapy management. So all this this disease management, pharmacotherapy consult, pharmacogenomics applications, and anticoagulation management, especially any block is there or any this patients who have this blood clot. Okay, so mainly lead to blood circulation. Okay, so anticoagulation also we have to give, and immunization, health wellness, public health, medication safety surveillance. Okay, so these are the various things we can involve. So next slide. So these are the mainly summarizing the clinical pharmacy activities, patient-specific services, facility-specific services, and global services. So these are the activities. So you can refer the slides later. I will share with I will give it to the Dorima. You can refer it. Okay, so that. Next slide. So pharmacometrics is a new thing. You all know about the clinical trials. Okay, so in the clinical trials itself, what are the things we can quantify the drug, disease, and trial information to aid efficient drug development and regulatory decisions. So this will support that thing. So once the clinical trial, the post-surveillance study, this another term is pharmacometrics. So this will involve multidisciplinary teams, quantitative clinical pharmacologists, statisticians, engineers, and data management experts who work closely with clinicians and statisticians. So mainly this all they will look up once the drug has been administered. Everything they will look after. Okay, next. Next slide, please. So these are the objectives, mainly pharmacometrics. Most important is the decision to approve and label the drug product with particular attention to drug dosing for all patients. So this has been the primary focus of the group, and providing advice on trial design decisions by sponsors, and research is conducted to create new knowledge base on the unique data available at FDA, and research is conducted to create or confirm prior models of disease change, placebo effect, and dropouts and drug effect, and also help to determine the value of biomarkers across clinical trials for a given disease or drug class to reflect change in primary disease endpoint. Okay, so an important component of this research is training future pharmacometricians. Next. So these are the various clinical pharmacy activities we're looking at for. So you all know at least now what are the things. So it's not only restricted for clinical pharmacy, only the Pharm D or the pharmacy practice graduates have to do this. So even the B.Pharm students are also involved in more clinical trials as well as other job related as well as they also appointed as pharmacists in the hospital. They also can join hands together with the clinical pharmacists in the hospital. So they also develop their things. Okay? So this is my sincere request. Don't limit yourself only at the pharmacy store itself. So you can explore yourself through clinical pharmacy activities. If you have any doubts, you can ask.
Thank you, sir. Any doubts?
Hello, sir.
Yes, sir. Yes, ma'am.
Sir, thank you very much for your nice presentation. You have given a vast information about the clinical pharmacy practice, what are the various services rendered by the clinical pharmacist, what is the pharmacogenomics. I have a small doubt. Actually, this pharmacy practice is, we have been dealing with the patients. So it is clinical oriented, sir, but some they are being regarded as a non-clinical, like that aspect. This doubt I have, and one more thing. Are there any specific guidelines to sell the OTC medications while they are practicing the CP count?
So first of all, pharmacy is a non-clinical one, so that is to be decided. So that is not in our hands. Anyhow, it's been up to the government and also the other regulatory bodies, especially our nowadays Pharmacy Council of India. They have been implementing this pharmacy practice regulations 2015. Okay, they want them to implement it very they have been putting pressure on the pharmacy councils, mainly state pharmacy councils, to implement the practice regulations 2015 as early as possible. So once that clinic pharmacy practice clinics being established in our country, at least we may have some importance that is not based on clinical or non-clinical. Even the nursing staff, all other things also not been given much importance, even though the service has been very essential. So our service also has to be, we have to prove ourselves first of all, then only, mostly nowadays our service has been at least appreciated by the most of the doctors, but some doctors they need to waken up, they are not appreciating our efforts. But some students also they have been putting, they have been joining in most of the hospitals, and nowadays the clinical pharmacists opportunities were more, especially mainly for the NABH accreditation process. At least in one way they have been identified our efforts, our services. So that is really appreciable. Okay, so now most of the corporate hospitals they have been going for this clinical pharmacist job, and also the payment is very less when comparably. But previously it was very less. Now at least it's been nearing to 30,000 per month. So that is so we have to develop. And next question is that OTC medications, we have a list of OTC medications being given by
Any
the
specific guidelines is there, sir? Specific guidelines.
specific guidelines. We don't have that specific guidelines. The over-the-counter medications. So what are the list of medications we have to sell? That list we have. So never get. I'm sorry to say this. Without prescription itself, for all the drugs being
Yes, sir. For business purpose, they have been doing.
See, that we can do, but even though we need to check the prescriptions, the refilling of prescriptions should be there, the date and signatures has to be there. Okay, so that is not being followed. Even the regulatory control authorities also, they have been enormous, n number of pharmacies are there. In a state itself, 2 to 3 pharmacies are there. So it's quite difficult to monitor. That's why the pharmacy inspectors been posted in various states from the academic senior persons, so that they may be given opportunities to go and inspect the pharmacy whether they have been doing the things correctly or not. So we have to wait. Our state pharmacy council has to initiate these activities, so that we have to monitor. Okay, so at least for 2 months, one time the prescription has been given. At least they have been going check up the pharmacy store or the pharmacist who have been even in charge of the pharmacy has to advise the patients to go back to the physician and get that prescription refilled at least. So that is the main thing. So they are taking for 1 year or 2 years continuously the same drug. So we cannot predict what is happening exactly. Sometimes they may have, if they are not going, say for example, a diabetic person is not going for a regular follow-up, they have been continuously taking that medication. Suddenly their glycemic level will become low. Not only they may fall in the road or wherever they go out. And sometimes it may be very fatal. Death may also occur. Sometimes sudden stroke will happen. So many difficulties are there. So that's why the pharmacist, the qualified persons has to be there in the pharmacy. Most of the pharmacies they don't have the qualified persons. So even I wrote this new pharmacy act. They are going to implement. They have formed some committee, and also I suggested so many decisions. One is that the qualified persons has to be there in the pharmacy, and they should know the regulations, and they know the guidelines on what are the drugs we have to give without over the counter, and that also we should not give in a strict pack. 10, 15, 20 we cannot give. So 2 doses or 1 dose or 2 doses we have to give. If the problem persists, you have to consult the physician. Like that we need to advise. So nowadays OTC drugs all available in provisional stores itself. So that is quite a worrying factor. So drug has to be sold in the pharmacy only. So that is the main thing. Whether it's over the counter or with prescription, it has to sold under the qualified practitioner. That's it.
So one more thing, after completing, hello.
Yes, ma'am.
Sir, after completing B Pharm, students are asking whether to join N-Pharm pharmacy practice or else they go for Pharm D, post baccalaureate. Which one is advisable, sir?
So See, both the things are very nice courses only. So M.Pharm pharmacy practice, what I feel is that M.Pharm pharmacy practice, you need to do PhD to get the doctor. Without PhD, there is no recognition once after completing M.Pharm. Okay, so for PharmD, 3-year course if they complete, they may be very much recognized. Without PhD, there will be
Post
recognition.
bachelor.
Yes.
They'll be having a post bachelor.
Yes, yes.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Students, participants, any questions?
Sir, what about the prescription rights for family in the future?
Prescription rights, see, we can suggest the drugs. Okay, prescription rights is there in Western country. Only the diagnosis part will be made by the physician. The prescription rights given to the pharmacist. Okay, here the entire scenario is different. So many authorities now, even the former president of PCI, Dr. P. Suresh itself, this was asked in one conference itself, he refused the rights of the writing the prescription by PharmD students, PharmD graduates. Okay, so we can give the suggestion. That's why I'm saying we have to prove ourselves. Then the doctors automatically will realize the importance of our thing. So that's why we need to be very practical oriented rather than the theory part. Okay, so what are the drugs we need to, so the drug-drug interactions, adverse drug reactions, we have to be very careful and also those calculations. So you need to be very expert in that, so that automatically you can give drugs. Okay, during the war rounds itself, we can suggest the drugs. Sir, why you are giving this drug? So this is not suitable to this patient condition. So we can give this drug. Automatically the patient will approve your drug. It's not only we have to prove only, we have to write the prescription. We cannot prove only writing the prescription. This is not very. We have to be subject oriented as well as practice oriented.
Thank you, sir. And one more question from message Naveen Kumar has asked. In drug-drug interaction leads displacement reaction. What is the role of physician as well as the pharmacist?
So that's why I told drug-drug interaction. So what drugs? So this therapeutic drug monitoring. So we cannot say this whether it's a physician role or pharmacist role. So mainly the drug involved means it's the pharmacist role. So doctors, they never consider about the drug. They are not learning about drugs mainly. Okay, they are learning only one subject, pharmacology. So they are not learning about drugs. So the person who are learning about drugs is pharmacist. Okay, so the pharmacist only has to take responsibility. So drug-drug interaction is there. So what is the meaning? How it has to be minified? Whether the drug has to be withdrawn or the drug has to be changed? Everything, all the suggestions has to be given by the pharmacist.
Thank you, sir. If any other question is there, you can ask students. You can use the chat box. Any questions?
Ravi sir, Anita madam, ask the students for questions.
Yes, Mr. Pandya. What about residency programs after PharmD? So many residential programs is there in Western countries, not in our country. Okay, you have to apply, and for that you need some experience. Okay, so you need to get some. Say for example, residency program is meant for any one specialization or any geriatric conditions or pediatric populations or oncology pharmacists. So like that, you need to choose your program and you need to apply for the residency program. Is there already the PharmD graduates been employed and they have been joined residency programs? Okay, so in that, the oncology pharmacists, radiological pharmacists, like that you will be joined after the residency program. You will need to choose one profession, one specialization. You cannot go for entire thing. So residential programs like that. Yes, oncotherapy in JSS Medical College is there, but the seat is very restricted, no? Nisar, how many seats they have been offering oncotherapy?
Cost.
Only 2 or 3. In Tata Memorial Hospital, oncology is there. Only 1 seat. So how many family students will apply? So for these residential programs, you need to back up yourselves. You need to get enough knowledge about clinical pharmacy activities. Also, as I already told, what are the drugs? Drug knowledge is very much essential. How it acts. Okay. So for any renal failure patients or hepatic failure patients, what is the dose we have to fix? Okay, everything you have to learn. Then only you can get that admission in that. So for that, if you have any certificate, along with that, if you apply, you may get that registration program. So in Western countries, they may look for that.
Any more questions? Thank you, sir. Thank you for sharing your valuable suggestions.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much.
Sridharan, what is your
Sridharan,
question?
sir. I think also. Sir? Sridharan, sir?
Yes, sir. Sridhar, sir.
Sir, good morning. How are you?
Good morning. Good morning, sir. Fine.
The only question I have, how much is the cost for DAC
Yes, sir.
software?
DAC software is up to 3 lakhs, sir. No, 2.5 exactly.
0.5 to 3 lakhs.
Micromedex. I am talking about Micromedex. Now they revised, I think, 2.8. No.
Okay.
Okay. Okay. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, sir. Thank you, the participants, for your valuable time.
Thank you so much.
I'm going to share the feedback link through email. So you fill the feedback link and you are going to get the certificates within 2-3 days. Thank you. Now I will request Gauri Madam to give the vote of thanks.
Thank you so much, Karthikeyan sir, for spending your valuable time in providing us an excellent webinar. Actually, pharmacy practice na ஒரு நிறைய doubts இருந்தது, but in simplified way, you have given a very nice presentation. Especially the slides were very awesome. Like ஒவ்வொரு ஸ்லைட்க்கு அப்புறமும் ஒரு journal quoting கொடுத்து எந்த இத ரெஃபரன்ஸ்னு சொல்லியிருக்கீங்க. Students have understood. I think the students might have understood very easily about what are the simple aspects in patient counseling, what is the role of clinical pharmacists. And then I have talked about the prescription drug monitoring programs that are all very useful for this students. I just thank our management and our principal sir for providing this opportunity to organize this event, and I just thank my colleague Dr. Badrut sir for overall organizing this event in a very successful manner. Thank you, sir. And I just thank all the faculties of GRT for their wonderful cooperation. And I just thank our beloved students. I think today you have been enriched with more knowledge about the clinical pharmacy practice. And special thanks to Karthikeyan sir, because when I approached him, he without any hesitation, he immediately accepted the offer. And I think he's been very busy in his hectic schedule. He has given us some space for organizing this event, and he has shared his valuable information. Very patiently he has answered all those questions. And overall the session was very informative as well as very interactive session. I just thank you, sir. Personally, I just want to share a lot of thanks to you for accepting my personal offer. Thank you, sir. Thank you so much. And I just thank all the participants for your wonderful